Such history being made in the Middle East yesterday. If you were like me, you were up late last night here on Sky News watching what was happening in the Knesset with US President Donald Trump addressing Israel's parliament as well as others, of course. And Israel's Deputy Foreign Minister Sharren Haskel had a front row seat, you might have seen, because she even crossed live from within the Knesset while she was waiting for the president to arrive. Live into Sharry Markson's show last night, and Sharren Haskel joins me now live from Israel. Good to talk to you, Sharren. That was fantastic television last night, but talk to us more about the history. There was so much joy in that room. There was one interruption from, I believe, an Arab member of parliament, but so much joy. But what I took from it, because there's a lot of backslapping, a lot of justified backslapping between the president and, of course, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, but there was so much hope and promise that this would be a new dawn. Tell us about the event.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think enough people understand how now that the hostages have been returned, watching this historic speech at the Knesset, a real historic moment. And, the Jewish people remember their history. This was such an important point. And while he was speaking, we would receive those images of the hostages coming back to the loving arms of their family. For us in Israel, it really means that finally we can breathe again. Since the 7th of October, we were holding our breath. We couldn't start a recovery process from this deep trauma of this horrendous day where crimes against humanity were committed against our people. And finally, at that moment, with his word, so much inspiration, so much hope for the future, the images of them coming back, we could breathe, we could be happy and fully be happy.
That's a brilliant way to express it, because when I was in Israel, this is what struck me. While there were so many political differences and everybody had their own perspective on the politics or how the war should end, but the one thing that united the whole country was this preoccupation with the hostages. And as you say, the whole country holding its breath until their return, which leads me to my next question, and that is Hamas not honouring their deal so far on returning the remains of 28 dead hostages. Only 4 bodies returned so far. Threats that this could break the deal even in these early days. What's happening?
Look, we are really concerned, and my heart is with the families who are waiting for the bodies of their loved one who were murdered by Hamas to come back home for, respected burial. Unfortunately, Hamas is not keeping up to the terms of the deal. We have built a mechanism. There's a problem because it wasn't just Hamas that entered on the 7th of October. There were thousands, if not tens of thousands of civilians, different militant groups, monstrous terrorist groups, not just ISIS, but other cells. And they've been spread among some of them. And Hamas has been identifying, trying to track back a lot of the locations of those bodies. We are in the hope of seeing real intention from Hamas to recover all of them completely. We don't want war. Israel never wanted war. We always wanted peace and stability here in our region. This war was forced on us. We'll always choose a diplomatic path whenever we have it. It is only when we have no other choice but to defend ourselves, to bring our people, our family members back home, that will turn into a military campaign.
Sharren Haskel, thanks so much for that. Good luck with that, because I know so many families are so desperate for the closure and the dignity of having the bodies returned. That's the Deputy Foreign Minister of Israel, Sharren Haskel, joining us again live from Israel.